This film is called Sleeping with the Enemy. It was released in 1991. It stars Academy Award winner Julia Roberts, Golden Globe nominee Kevin Anderson, and Irish actor Patrick Bergin. When the film was released, it broke the record for the highest domestic opening for a film with a female lead. The previous record holder was James Cameron's Aliens, released in 1986 and starring Sigourney Weaver. The film opens with a beautiful young woman on the beach clamming, which is the process of picking up clams. Her husband joins her. He tells her he is going to cancel the party they are supposed to attend because she is busy. She says it's fine, they can go. They hug and she messes his jacket. At night she dresses up for the party. They go to the party. They are in different circles, but the husband can't stop gazing at his wife. They lock eyes and she joins him. At home, as she takes out strawberries to eat, he comes from behind and grabs her and they make love. In the morning the husband exercises. When he goes into the bathroom, he notices the towels are not aligned. He tells his wife about it. She aligns the towels and everything else. The husband, Martin, goes to the beach and meets his new neighbor. They discuss their occupations and his wife's fear of water. When Martin goes back home, he assaults Laura because he thinks the neighbor has been in the house just because he said he has a nice house. He comforts her and tells her the neighbor has invited them to go sailing, and he promises it won't be bad. Laura takes a walk on the coastline, destroying light bulbs. Martin comes back with flowers and a present to apologize for the assault. They rekindle and have sex. At lunch, she tells him the library has given her full-time employment. Martin shoots down the idea, citing their home needs upkeep. She reveals she is still not over the death of her mum, who died 6 months earlier, and regrets not bringing her to live with them, and also not being able to attend her funeral. Martin retorts he would have gone with her had she told him. They get ready to go sailing. They go sailing and Laura is nervous. It starts raining and they turn back. Laura gets more nervous. The canvas breaks and Martin goes to fix it, but is having a tough time. The neighbor goes to assist him. They pull the canvas and Martin falls into the water. The neighbor assists him back on the boat, but he soon realizes Laura is no longer on the boat. He screams for her. The neighbor shoots flares into the sky. The Coast Guard come to assist and show him her life jacket. He goes home dejected. From the balcony he shouts her name. Back at sea, Laura climbs and holds onto a buoy. Laura swims to shore. She then runs back to the house and takes her satchel. She dresses up and cuts her hair and disguises herself. She takes a bus. An old lady befriends her. She gets to Iowa and removes her disguise and goes house hunting. She likes the house and takes it. She spring cleans the house. She feels at home and safe. After taking a bath, she disarranges the towels as a sign of freedom. She hears a whistle and goes to check it out. It's a man outside watering plants while singing. At Cape Cod, Martin is restless and goes to the beach hoping Laura's body will wash ashore. He steps on a broken glass and looks up to see a broken street lamp. Laura is about to cook and opens the cabinet but dishevels it. She goes to pick apples and is startled by a man who accuses her of stealing and trespassing. He proposes a deal, but he does not report her to the police. In turn, she gives him a piece of the pie. She refuses and throws them to the ground. While cooking, the man comes and brings the apples. He introduces himself as Ben. He asks her name and where she is from, but she refuses to speak. He asks her for a date. She says she will think about it. Martin is busy at work when he receives a call from someone who claims to know Laura from the swimming lessons she undertook at YWCA. Martin disputes this, but the caller tells him Laura became a good swimmer. Martin is upset. He goes home and starts going through Laura's personal stuff. He cuts his finger and as he goes to the bathroom, Blood drips into the chamber, and he sees her wedding ring in it. At that moment he realizes Laura is alive. Laura goes to dinner at Ben's house with the pie. During dinner, Ben tries to get to know her better, but she makes it clear she does not want to talk about herself. He insists on knowing her name, and she says it is Sarah Waters. Martin goes to the old age home Laura's mother was living, and he inquires if he could get in touch with Laura's acquaintances and family and if they ever visited. The matron tells him they do not keep visitors' records. He asks to see her mother's resting place, so Laura is buried next to her, and is shocked when told she was moved by Laura 6 months ago. Ben pays Laura a surprise visit at the library, where she is now working. He confronts her about the fake name. She calls her mum and does not talk, only hears her voice. Martin meets a private investigator to track down Laura's mother. Ben and Laura bump into each other at the state fair. Laura reveals she is in Iowa to be close to her mum, who is recovering from a stroke. Martin manages to locate Laura's mum. One night after coming from work, she has barely settled when Ben startles her with a loud knock. They go to his work and she tries on acting costumes. She has a lot of fun. They dance to Run Around Sue. They go to her home and start making out, but she starts crying. She apologizes and asks him to leave. In the morning she comes over to him. She comes clean. Ben consoles her. Ben disguises her as a man and she goes to visit her mum. Martin visits the old age Laura's mum supposedly lives at. While talking to a nurse, Laura exits to pick up the linen. Martin peeks inside Laura's mum's room and Laura enters from the bathroom. As she drinks water, Martin is behind her. As Martin leaves, he is notified that someone visited Laura's mum, and it's a young man who just exited. He runs to find the person, but is too late. Laura can't wait to tell Ben about the visit. Martin takes it upon himself to interrogate Laura's mother. He learns she will call on Sunday, and she is seeing a drama teacher in Cedar Falls. Just as he is about to kill her, a nurse interrupts. A man knocks off from work and enters his car only to have a gun pointed at him by Martin. Martin demands to know where Laura is, but the man says he is a homosexual. Martin finally locates Ben, who is in class teaching. Martin stalks Ben at the state fair until she meets Laura. Martin is livid and jealous. He stares at them without blinking, thoughts running through his head. The couple goes to Laura's home. She goes in to freshen up while Ben retreats to his place in anticipation of Laura coming later. She takes a bath, then she notices the towels are perfectly aligned. She searches the house for the intruder. She goes to the kitchen and sees the towels are wet and unaligned. She opens the cupboards and is relieved it is still untidy. She looks in the laundry room and sees the window is open. She closes it and is startled by the image in the mirror of a man who is Ben. They have a nighttime picnic and then bid farewell. She enters her bedroom and sees the bathtub overflowing with water. She removes the stopper, not thinking much about it. She notices the closet door is slightly open, but as she is about to open it, the fire alarm rings. The toaster is burning. She goes to throw the ring alarm she destroyed in the bin and sees the towels are now aligned perfectly. She opens the cupboards and sees the contents have been rearranged. At that moment it dawns on her that Martin is around and very close. She runs to exit the house and sees the radio on the door still playing Martin's favorite orchestra. Martin then reveals himself. Ben knocks on the door. Martin forces Laura to talk him away at gunpoint. Ben asks to come in and she refuses. Ben accepts and leaves, but does not go far. He budges into the house and ambushes Martin. A fight ensues until Ben is unconscious. Martin continues to serenade Laura, and then produces Laura's ring. Laura kicks him in the groin, and he falls to his knees, losing the gun in the process. Laura takes the gun and fires at Martin but misses. Martin is astounded. Laura has him at gunpoint, but Martin keeps advancing, professing his love for her. Laura takes the phone and dials 911 while still pointing the gun at Martin. After hanging up, she shoots Martin in the chest. Martin manages to stand up and advances. Laura shoots him again, but he is just not dying. Eventually he falls to the floor. Laura is distraught and weeps. Martin wakes up and grabs her by the hair. He points the gun to her face and pulls the trigger, but the gun is empty. He falls to the floor again. Ben wakes up and Laura assists him. Martin finally succumbs to his injuries.